Hello, it is I, Sir Devon of Kang Productions, and welcome back to our first episode of Planet Raya. So, let me just go over the little details. So, I was thinking of a planet to base it on because I want it to be like a human colony, because some of the routes, so like Modular City and Industrial Wasteland, all seem like they're otherworldly, so I decided to give it that feeling of a fantasy world. So I've called this one Raya. Now, why did I call it Raya? After Mass Effect character Talizora Naraya Vas Normandy Vas Nima. She's got a really long name. It's a Quarian thing. But yeah, I decided to start on Planet Raya by building the main city. But I'm going to do it in the way of building the track first, then adding all the little details after. And our first thing that we made was, or that I made, a central station. So it's got a track going towards and a track going out of. And we've also got on the big city a tramway that's similar to how Modular City does things, but differently. Originally it was going to be an underground track, but I decided to hell with it. Let's try something else. Let's make a tramway. I also think because I think this city is going to be heavily inspired by Modular City, but then again, it's its own thing. The reason why Modular City is one of the best maps you can ever have is because it gets updates with every version of Trainz you get. Especially with the Boga Island extension, where it gives you that Metropolis-like feel, and I wanted to give that similar. I wanted to give this route that kind of feel, but mixed with the country roads as well. It also took me a while to get used to the old way of doing things because I wasn't used to connecting track up, so I had to alter the majority of the track. Also extending it and with several blocks. This was actually inspired by some of my dreams that I have had in the past. So I've had dreams about these beautiful cities and wonderfully made countrysides and towns and railways. And I wanted to make that in trains or something along those lines, like an industrial, like a haven, I think. And I wanted to give it this grand central station type feel, and selecting a station was a really long process. But I eventually got there with the central station type feel. And I also wanted a bridge, so to give it that viewpoint of we're going to the suburbs and the outer city. I suppose the thing about building a big hub or a big terminus is you need to make it stand out, because this is the first thing that people are going to see when they come to the big city. How are they going to be welcomed? How flashy is it going to be, and what are they going to see, and how are they going to be welcomed? Is it going to be a big terminus like London, King's Cross, or is it going to be something completely different? And it's got to have all the resources that you need for travelling, like a coffee shop and a travelodge and a hotel. And I think this terminus, although it doesn't look like a terminus, it feels like something else. You know, it feels like a traditional station, but with a modern twist, I think. That's the kind of style I'm rooting for here. Traditional, but with a modern twist. And that's how it may be. So I also did the... So this track that you see here is going to be the suburbs. And this is kind of going to give you a show of leaving and entering the city. So there could be like a motorway, there could be a suburb of houses, and you know and is there going to be a bus route and everything. All these things you've got to remember for building a big city, and I feel as though it must be highly detailed. And as we leave the city, we are going to go into the subject of the next video, which is Riverdale and Greendale. But for this at the minute, as we leave the big city, I want it to get more... the houses to get much smaller, because each side of town is different. So this is a more traditional side of town, where we've got your standard old houses and stuff. And as you leave the town, you know, I want everything to at least look welcoming. And the station that you see here is Riverdale South. So obviously this part of Riverdale is based on the south side, which is very run down. And I wanted to give it that underground-like feel, but... So basically the original idea was to have it like that station in Lego City Undercover, where you enter the main bit of Lego City. No, where you enter the other side of Lego City, so one of the islands, as you go to Bluebell National Park and that area. I wanted to base it off of that station, but I don't think Trainz would let me do that. If anybody does have any tips on how to create stations similar to the one where you know, the bit before you go to Bluebell National Park, that will be greatly appreciated, because I'm just getting back into this. And so far it's bringing back all those childhood memories. I had a few nice surprises as well, because I didn't know that they had a fairground ride that played a Bugs Bunny style jingle. And it was really nice hearing that Class 37 horn again. So yeah, that's just about it for this opening episode, and next time we'll focus a bit more on the Riverdale side of things. I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. So goodbye and good night.